shopping in Italy.
And I met a nice man.
Ciao. Very cool.
Buick now has,
in a different way of what we know today.
Connected to iPhone.
It seems that they explored the inner cosmos, what we call Gnostic search. There's two forms of searches. There is the outside one, and there is the inner cosmos. There's a whole cosmos in there. And one of the things I think we ought to do, I don't know how exactly, is to explore the inner world. The answers are there. They seem to have found things that are extraordinary. Not just this, many things. They seem to have found a way, perhaps through ritual, perhaps through, and they seem to need, this is the weird thing, they seem to need this hardware of the pyramids. The pyramids are the hardware of a very elaborate metaphysical science. This is a metaphysical machine, and it needs the software, to use jargon. And the software, I'm very convinced, is the initiated man or woman. You don't enter this pyramid just to take photos. If you are initiated, and that's what I try to do on my tours, by the way, we announced one, is, okay, they would take 20 years, I take 10 days to just, but even just enough to know when you enter it, that you enter the belly of a star. And it has directions. Just knowing this, and it begins to work. It begins to activate. And the processor, what seems to constantly go round and round and round and round, is the sky. You live on a planet, you live on a globe, and it has motions. It rotates on its axis every 24 hours, right? Please tell me right. It revolves around the sun in 365 and a quarter, or a bit less than a quarter days. It does that. It's doing that for billions of years. And it wobbles. Very slow. Very slow. In 26,000 years performed one of these wobbles. We call this precession of the equinoxes. And because it does this, we're here. Because it does this, you have this wonderful world and lakes and rivers and oceans and mountains and birds and trees and crocodiles and the whole lot. What the fuck? Because if it didn't do that, it wouldn't be the same world. The planet seems to be designed. And it may sound weird. I mean, I find it very strange to use this word. But I was speaking to Mika Kaku, the Japanese cosmologist, and he told me something that spooked me. He said the edge of cosmological thinking is that we've arrived at this conclusion, Robert. I can go for hours and blow your mind, but basically the conclusion is that this universe, not just this planet, this universe holds on two constants, the speed of light and the gravitational constant. If you tweak one by a zillionth of a fraction, this universe doesn't work. Conclusion is, either it's designed, or there is an infinite number of universes, and we happen to be the one that works, or at least works for us. It's an amazing conclusion. I'm not quite sure which one I go for. I'd rather the designed one. Seems more containable for me. Or maybe both. This is where we're at. This is where we are. And this is what these people seem to somehow try and use. They're using the movement of the planets, the precession. They seem to have built some sort of big machine, and they seem to be very convinced that this will launch them after death to the stars, to return back to their primordial origins. And just, it may be possible. It's worth pursuing. It's worth trying to understand these people, because you don't Let me tell you, it's hard to press this point, but you don't build this monument without the highest, the absolute highest motive. It's too much.
What's that?
All right? It's just too much. We must attribute to it the highest motive. And the motive persisted. Because if they didn't really believe in this, they wouldn't have gone through all this. They just didn't build one, they built two, they built three, they built 25 royal pyramids. You must believe in it. You must be absolutely sure that what you're doing is going to work. So these are the way to approach these subjects. And like I said, many of us are pushing this. Forget the consensus. We need to break open these studies because we've got the legacy of an amazing civilization, and here too. And we're not really bothering. Okay, next one. I'm not going too hard on you. One of those hard moves. All right, well, here we come to those famous 3 stars where the shaft points. And, well, that's Orion's belt enlarged. And you've got Zeta Orionis, Epsilon, and Delta. Or these 3 stars of Orion's belt. For some reason, the text and the pyramid is locked into that. And you can see this position. 2 rather bright stars and a less bright one, which is offset to the left. And can we move one slide? Out. That's my apple. It's just too damn weird. 2 large pyramids with a little one offset. It's known now as the Orion correlation theory. And boy, has it upset a lot of the academics. They just didn't expect this. It came from left field. I remember when we showed it on BBC in '94, I got a call from the producer who was absolutely shocked. He said, "What have you done, Robert?" They're calling from everywhere. People were on the edge of their seat because suddenly they saw something that should have been seen. It's one of those strange things. We knew of the shaft since '64. We knew of the texts for almost 100 years. And it's damn there. Well, like I said, they didn't like it. The public embraced it, they loved it, I mean, it was very obvious. But boy, academics. Luckily, I was heavily supported by the late Professor Edwards, the man who brought the Tutankhamun exhibition here, Sir Ivan Edwards, who died a few years ago. And they were the Egyptologists were rather taken aback because he came on the BBC program and lent quite a bit of support on this idea. So it caused quite a stir. Can we move ahead? There you see the correlation. Now, where Hancock and I got together in '95 was that when you looked at this correlation, although you had a similar pattern, the angle that the belt stars made was rather different from what was on the ground, a rather sharp angle. And you know this feeling when you go at somebody's dinner party and you're sitting at the table and across the wall there is a painting or a picture and it's slightly off? You know what I mean? You know this feeling? Like you can't, I mean, you wait for everybody to sort of look somewhere else and you just go and, you know, it's damn annoying. Well, first of all, you know, this you know, you feel like moving this pyramid a bit, put it in line with the others. You know, this little offset is so annoying. And then, this angle, you wanted to, well, you can't. You can't turn the stars, that's one thing for sure. You can't turn the pyramids. You try, but the stars, you cannot move them. Well, you can. Actually, you can. You can move them if you go back in time. And here is the leap. The leap. Egyptologists said the pyramids are built in 2,500.
Hey, I thought you were choosing the flute.
Everyone is doing flute.
Buick now has an SUV for that.
Where's your brother?
Hey, Mom, it's a tuba.
The Buick Enclave, one of 3 SUVs from Buick.
BC, and that's it. And I said to Graham, let's just go and see. Whoopsie-dopsie. I mean, I'm having enough trouble with this theory as it is. If you start talking about a different time, it's going to be bad. But what it boiled down to is this, is that we reasoned out from the text that these stars are identified to Orion's belt, and Orion's belt is identified, these pyramids, and these Orion's belt is identified to the god Osiris. The god Osiris was supposed to have come down. 5 minutes, bad. Give me 10. Are you bored with this? You're having fun? I don't know. Having fun, huh? Let them have fun. 12. I come from Egypt. Sorry? Yeah, keep going. I have to move a bit faster here. But might not be able to do Black Genesis. But that's the fun bit. So what we said is they speak about what is known and
why are you up so early?
There's a term in ancient Egypt that is
what is wrong with you guys? Why are you up so early?
The origins of their civilization. They call it Zep Tepi. It literally translates as the first time. And the first time of when Osiris and Isis ruled and established pharaonic civilization. And this first time, well, when is it? And we reason that because of precession, because of this cycle. Now, what happens to when you observe, you can run it on any astronomical program, they're very cheap these days. If you run it and you put the stars in the south, you'll find that they go down and they go up and they go down and they go up in cycles of 26,000 years. There is a low part, a nadir, and there is a high point. We're near the high point, by the way, now. The low point could be the beginning. Let's try it, we said. And as we went tick-tock, 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 I remember we did a program for Discovery Channel. Not only they started going down, but they started adjusting themselves. And when we reach the bottom line, the nadir, 10,500 BC, blong, you get a correlation. Now, before we publish anything like this, let's make damn sure. You know, we got several programs and we tried all this. But there was something very, 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 very inviting about this. Is that not only the stars are locked with the pyramids, but the Milky Way redressed itself and seemed like to be a projection of the Nile. I'll show you in a minute. And even more interestingly, they locked at a very specific time of the year, which was the spring equinox. And immediately we thought, spring equinox, that means the sun is rising due east at that time. Precisely when the stars are on the meridian. Perfect lock. And of course, immediately we said, due east, boy, there is another monument that is looking due east on that side. And that is the Great Sphinx. Can we have the next one? Here, as you can see it more in stellar terms. You can try it out. Huh? I mean, this is all falsifiable. I mean, it's not quite. Next slide. We'll have to move a bit faster. Okay. Now, not only, here is the log. Orion's belt in the south, matching the pyramid, the Nile with the Milky Way, and the sun rising due east, and in the sky, at that time, only at that time, was the constellation of Leo. It only worked for that time. There seemed to have been some sky image that was projected on the ground. It may be a coincidence, but it's 1,000,000 to 1 coincidence in my books. And so we published this, the old Keeper of Genesis. And boy, did they get upset. Really upset, because the astronomy worked, it fitted the text, but the date, they did not like it. Egyptian history began at best in 3000 BC. There was nobody there. There was no one there. Couldn't be. Annoyingly for them, at the time we were doing this, came John West and Robert Schoch with their geological theory, arguing that the Sphinx was much, much older. And now we had two sciences, hard sciences, astronomy and geology, bugging the Egyptologists big time. And they had to deal with it. No? Put it in your pipe and smoke it, we said. And they're still dealing with it. Well, they first tried to ignore it.
That shit look crazy, right?
The well-known astronomer,
Learning this shit from
who was one of the famous astronomers here from Glasgow University.
some dumbass website, some clothing shit. They gave me this as a free gift.
Alexander Thom, one of the founders of archaeoastronomy, came on
By
my
the
program and said,
power of Greystone.
They say first you're mad, then they say, well, let's look at it, and then they say, well, we don't like it. And they say, it kind of works. And then they ignore it and say, well, we knew about it all along. It's there. It's naively there. The pyramid complex is begging us to pursue this date. And even more, this is where we thought, wait a minute, so what? They did this date, and so what is it? What, I mean, all this trouble for what? And then we began to think, and I'm not going to go into that because we won't have time. We began to think that this is a map. It's like your crop circles. It's a map. There's a message there. And instead of us, yeah, I mean, don't look at the sky. Come on, look on the ground. We're telling you that here is the whole story. This says 10,000 BC sun. Below the Sphinx. And we do know since 91 that there's a possibility of chambers below the Sphinx, apart from the possible chambers inside the pyramid. It's amazing, and we're still waiting. They're waiting. Why? Because they say, no, it's not possible. It has nothing to do with 10,000 BC. Where is the evidence? Where are the potsherds? Where are the bones of the people? Where is everybody in 10,000 BC? We have to say, well, you've got a point there. I would say it's your problem. We have worked this out. Now you're going to look for the bombs. You're going to look for whatever. But they didn't. And everything changed. And we won't have time. But everything changed in 1974. And more particularly in 1998 when they found Nabta Playa. You've heard of Nabta Playa? Good. I'll tell you about Nabta Playa briefly. Can we move fast here? We're going to have to skip here. It's a place here. Nabta Playa, and remember this. This is going to change world history. In 1974, a group of anthropologists, Americans, stopped their four-wheel drive with a bunch of students to have what they called a comfort break, stopping for a pee. And while they were having the comfort break, they noticed that there were these strange stones all around. They discovered Nabta Playa. Become the most interesting place in the world. It's not Stonehenge, it's a mini Stonehenge in the desert. You'll see pictures of it. But the information it carries baffles us. Because it's been dated to thousands of years, at least 6,000, sorry, what am I saying? At least 3,000 BC, 3,000 years before the pyramid. At least. We think now even more. And the knowledge that is contained in the pyramid, the alignments to Orion, to Sirius, is in this complex. We didn't expect this at all.
But see,
Who did this? Who are these people? And this was a mission that I took. Fuzzy came half a...
You know why it takes so long, so many motherfucking years for these archaeologists and their research groups and teams that actually put forth most of the information? It takes them years and years to fucking sanitize it and to put it in a way where he says, who are these people? We just want to know. This history is so old. They want to say it in a way where it's like, we're not quite sure, but we know it wasn't black people. But there's no other fucking way around that shit. the deeper you fucking dig, the blacker history gets. And this is the point of white supremacy. To deny the fact that the black man is the first man, that he started civilization and is the father and mother of all other races. And since the Europeans have been dominating for so long, it's like this subconscious feeling of guilt, like, oh my God, look what we have done to the original people. We have subjugated them, we have enslaved them, we have placed them at the bottom, the very bottom of the family tree. Globally, the darker your skin is, the less you're respected, the less people see of you and expect of you. Especially in America, the darker your skin is, you're automatically viewed as a villain, evil, bad guy, and all these other negative stereotypes and stigmas that come with having dark skin. But the deeper you dig, these old ass fucking ruins and civilizations that they keep finding in the heart of Africa, in the interior of Africa, southern Africa, West Africa, everywhere. The deeper you dig, the oldest fucking civilizations you can find is like, what the fuck have we done? We have, demasculated the original man. But we got to keep up this charade so that our self-image is not deflated. The perception of reality that we have constructed over the last 2 centuries is not taken away from us, and we're placed at the bottom of the rung instead of just trying to level the playing field and keep everything even. It's almost ridiculous how and that's what I'm saying. It's so weird, but I'm not obsessed with white supremacy. I am totally fascinated by it. It is a remarkable achievement what the European man has done and how he has created race, how he has created class, how he has created the monetary system, and how he has been able to dominate and control 90% of the world's resources for a few hundred years. And this is what every other civilization has attempted, because the more we grew, the more of the world we knew. But older civilizations conquered what they knew to be the world, and the more they explored and expanded, there's more of this shit. Well, I want to come here and I want to go here and I want to settle in this area. And everyone has tried it. Not everyone, a lot of people have tried it. I don't know. But the Europeans have perfected the skill of colonization, colonialism. The English language damn near dominates the globe right now. Western culture is seeped into every other culture's mentality, and it is a fantastic psychological infrastructure that has been built and well maintained. But then, like I say, when you do solid research and you go digging in these fucking dirt and stones and find these massive cities, and indications of social awareness, spiritual enlightenment, mathematics that we still today cannot understand, 6,000, 8,000 years later, we're puzzled by this shit. And the simple fact that these original people who accomplished what would be on a scale today, greater achievements than we have. We went to the moon. We put a satellite in space. We have a rover on Mars. These motherfuckers built a ginormous structure that lines up perfectly with 3 stars in the sky. You do that shit right now. Go do it. You can't. You can put a fucking a robot on a different planet, but you still can't do that shit. And you still really don't understand what the fuck it was really for. So there's levels to this shit that just diminishes modern intelligence as, oh, well, these ancient people really didn't know more than we did. Yeah, they knew a hell of a lot more than we do now. Everyone had slaves. every culture, every civilization has had and see, this is the only thing with language today. Once again, the English language almost dominates on a world scale, and the words you use, the thoughts that you have, in order to convey those thoughts to someone else, we have to use a pattern of speech and what is known as language. And your language will allow you or not allow you to convey an emotional feeling or a thought perfectly to another individual. And the English language has been built in such a way that it limits us from actually fully expressing ourselves, and is also built in a way where there's double speak, entendres, different meanings, and it's so complex and complicated that it's not very, very useful for conveying deeper understandings. So even just the word slave, and when we say slave and we try to remember the Webster's dictionary definition of the word, and what we have been taught that what a slave is not the same thing as every other culture. With, like, they probably wouldn't even have called their subjugated servants slaves, but that's the only word that we have for it, and we think that it applies to every other situation. When I think of slavery, I think of American chattel slavery. That's what I think slavery is, because slavery still goes on currently today, right now, as I'm speaking. But the American form of slavery, the last great enslavement of men that was supposedly ended, was accumulation of thousands of years of subjugating other people, and how to control people and get masses of people to do what you want to do. And once again, slavery has always been there because there's always been conflicts, and there's always been a push to unify people. And if I want your people to come join my people and help my people build tents and game trails so we can go hunt and help us figure out this agriculture shit, but you're resistant to it, then we may have what would be called a war, which is mostly for ancient people, ceremonial and an attempt. And now that we have won, you got to do what we say, but you're still a human being. You're a man, like I'm a man, and your wife is is a woman, like my wife is a woman, and your children are humans, and but you're just under my control now, and your people will be subjected to the way we want to do things, but you're still your people, and you still have your culture and whatever. American slavery didn't work like that. American slavery took humans, and said that you're not human, you're only a beast. We're going to take your language from you, and we're going to civilize you and give you our religion, give you our gods. Matter of fact, we're going to take your language, make you speak our language. We're going to take your names, and we're going to call you what we want to call you, and you're going to have to use our names. We're going to break your families up, and then we're going to breed you like cattle and sell you to other people. And you see the difference in that? American slavery was some of the worst psychological and physical slavery that ever take place, ever. And this question, once again, bonkers, why does it matter? And I swear, like, and you're that guy, because I get asked this at least once a month, once every other month, somebody asks me that question. But if you saw a white guy in his art studio and he only had paintings of white European beautiful women, models from Vogue magazine, the cover of Time magazine, and all these other images of Europeans, would you ask a white man, yo, why you only paint white people? Racist? Yo, what up, Garcia? If a white artist only paints white people, would you question him why? Now think about every white artist you know. Do they paint black people? Do they paint people of color? Do they even paint Spanish people or Asian people? But think of one white artist who only paints black people. It wouldn't make any sense, would it? Because he's white, so why would he only paint black people? Wouldn't he want to paint people that look familiar to him? That look like his mother and his sister and his brother? And that's cool, because he's an artist and he wants to show his depiction of his reality of the world, and that's his reality. But if I show my reality and my depiction of what I see to be my world, it's a problem, and someone has to question it. Why you only paint black people? You must be racist. Show me one white artist, not even all his artwork. Show me a white artist that half of his artwork is other ethnic groups. Show me a white artist that 1/3 of his artwork is ethnic people. Hardcore, like right on black power. I know a few, but do you? Do you? I know an Asian artist, a Japanese man who grew up in Canada. And about 65% of his paintings are black women. And I questioned him. What's up with the black woman thing? What's good? Why you paint black women so much? Just to see what he would say. But did I think he was racist? I thought that shit was the fucking bomb. That shit is the fucking shit. You an Asian dude from Canada, and most of your shit is black women with afros. I love that shit. You my nigga, yo. You my nigga. I love you, bruh. Your shit is the shit, dog. I love that. You know? But do you know somebody like that? So why are you questioning me? Why are you questioning me about all my beautiful artwork? All these beautiful black people that I paint. Like that handsome motherfucker right there. Oh yeah, that's not Tupac, that's me. That handsome black man right there. Does it intimidate you? You feel fearful because I like painting black people. Like, damn, he know a lot of black people. You know what really get people though? You know what really get white people? Is when they see some of my art and they say, do you really own that book? Did you really read that book? And they can't believe I paint black people who read books. It blows their fucking mind. Damn, that's a beautiful ass painting of two black people. Beautiful painting. I ain't never seen nothing like it before. Honestly, I never seen a painting of two beautiful black people sitting in a bookstore reading some good ass books written by black people. Wait a minute, they reading a book written by black people? That's too black. Where the white people at? Oh, wait a minute. Is that an Egyptian tattoo? Is that the Ankh? Is she representing black history, black culture, ancient African civilizations? I think that's too black. Is that a black hand? Is that a black man's hand holding a black woman's hand? Whoa, wait a minute. It's too much. It's too much blackness. Where the white people at? Oh, look at this beautiful young black girl. On a beautiful sunny afternoon, chilling in a beautiful backyard with green grass that's well manicured and bushes with beautiful flowers that are nicely groomed and a fence. Not just a picket fence, a nice big fence. Man, black people don't live like that. I thought black people live in the projects, in the ghetto. Y'all ain't got backyards with well manicured lawns. That's for white people. Black people don't read books. They have bookshelves full of books. Black people don't study who Nat Turner is and read more books. Oh my God. And read more books. This dude is too black for me. I wonder why he don't paint white people. This guy must be. Yeah, my niece. That is my niece. My beautiful niece. That's my princess. Because I'm a prince. I'm royalty. Thank you. Yes, address me as such. And this is my princess, my beautiful niece. Man, the brushwork, immaculate. The color blending, spectacular. The details, undeniable. The image, captivating, riveting, electrifying. Let me stop fucking with y'all. It's too early. It's too early in the morning for that shit. I'm trying to get some painting done, man. People in here questioning me when I'm just painting black people all the time. When I'm about to paint another picture of two black people, damn, why I gotta get questioned about that shit? Come on, PlayStation camera. Oh, you only paint black people? And then I'm about to paint a picture of two black people. It's gonna piss you off, ain't it? Damn, look how beautiful that is. You know what I'm gonna call this? The nectar of nature. Damn, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful image. I love that. And so yes, I'm about to paint this shit. And then when it's done, I'm gonna put it in a art gallery with 37 members, and I'm the only black male member. Come on, what is that? Get out of there. Get out of my goatee. I don't know. It's too much for some people, yo. It really is. Yo, why do you only paint black people? I swear to God, yo, no lie, I get that shit at least once a month, once every other month at the longest. But every time a new viewer comes in here, somebody's gonna ask that question, yo, and it's weird and it's annoying and it gets aggravating, and then I have to go on this long ass rant about why I paint black people. I don't feel like I should have to do that, but this is art and education, and some people really want to know. It was a genuine question, and I feel like if I can be the one to help explain these things to people, and if they can see it from my perspective and have a better understanding of why I do what I do, then I'll have accomplished something today.
Here. Can you see my projection here? There is a very, very eerie region there. It's called Gilf Kebir and Uwainat. And amazingly, have you seen The English Patient, by the way, the film? You know where she dies in the cave? She's supposed to die in the cave of the swimmers, which is at Gilf Kebir. Amazingly, we didn't know these places existed till the 1920s. And the reason we didn't know is nobody could get there. Even today, it's 100.
Welcome back, Grandma. Wow.
I did a lot of shopping in Italy.
And I met a nice man.
Ciao. Pretty cool.
Buick now has an SUV for them. The Buick Envision, one of 3 SUVs from Buick.
Hell of a trip. Of course, if you have a helicopter or a plane. But to go from the nearest oasis, you came with us up to Dakhla, didn't you? To drive here, which is 700 kilometers, takes you 4 nights and 5 days with 4-wheel drive. It is what we call the open desert. And I wish I had more time, because the open desert is something else. Being in the desert is one thing. Being in the open desert, will change your life.
All right. What I was doing, I was cleaning off my palette.
Lose touch of civilization completely. And you're there with the sparsest of needs, a sort of Franciscan experience. All you need is a bit of water and food. But this contact with the primordial world and more interest.
If it makes you feel better, my girlfriend is white. And she's Italian. She's not black. That makes you feel better? Huh? Now I'm in an interracial relationship, and I only paint black people. Oh, damn. He's racist. No, I'm not racist. A skeleton can't be racist. A skeleton can't be racist.
Interestingly and more excitingly, contact with the lost people who built Nabtaplai. Because we found not only evidence of their presidents, they left us their images. We can actually see how they look like. And they look great. Really sexy people. Tall, black, with a very unusual face.
Did he say black?
Very unusual face. Can we move fast? I'll have to move fast. I'll have to skip some of the story, but this is the so-called Abu Balaa Strait. If you read Black Genesis, which I hope you will, it's just been launched here in England. It tells the second chapter is a very large one. It tells the whole background, this romantic background of the discovery of these places. It really is a romance. And usually it's British people.
Motherfucker gave some credit just now.
And this is one of them. Huh? He discovered what is known as the Abu Balas Hill, which mystified people until recently. He found a hill. Can you go? Well, this is pictures of the original. He took the pictures. I don't remember Howard King he was called. And he found this hill and a lot of these strange jars full of them, about 200 of them, all around the hill. Nobody understand what they were there for. We know now. Well, we know now that there were water stations, like fuel stations. It's the only way you can travel in this desert. Even today, you have to have stations. And that's why the Egyptologists didn't think they could make it, because they didn't understand that the ancient Egyptians had worked this one out. So we move fast. And here is a very romantic fellow, which you'll hear a lot about in my book, and we think of making a film out of him. He is your Omar Sharif, Rudolph Valentino, built into one. He's you're going to love this. He was educated at Balliol College in Oxford. He was a champion, Olympic champion of fencing. And of all things, quite a romantic fellow. He actually seduced the Queen of England, the Queen of Egypt. And they say he married in secret. Anyway, but his great passion was the desert. And he organized one of the most daring, in fact, the only daring expedition of its kind. He actually did it by camel to reach. So he went there hearing that there were these Shangri-Las in the desert. And he reached, can we move? His name is Ahmed Hassanein Bey. Ahmed Hassanein Bey. He spoke perfect English. Wonderful fellow. He died young, by the way. He died at 46, a car crash, driving his Jeep, and he hit an army tank, apparently, something like that. His journey starts, very, very distant on the Mediterranean, and comes along the Libyan border, and he finds this zone, this small mountain zone, which he called Uwainat. It means little eyes. The Egyptians call eyes wells, or rather ponds. They imagine that there are eyes from the earth. So he called it Uwainat, the little eyes. It's the only place in all this vast open desert that has a bit of water. And during the Second World War, it was a big prize because it's the only way to cross into Egypt from Libya. So you find a lot of remnants of World War II cars and all over the place. Amazingly, in perfect order. Nothing rusts there. There is no humidity, no nothing. Yeah, it's amazing. You find engines like you could use them. You find prehistoric artifacts on the sand, untouched, like the moon. It's really... Okay, let's move fast. He came across, this was supposed to be totally uninhabited, but he came across these people. Apparently one day he woke up where he was camping, and this girl, apparently that's her, appeared and had a bowl of milk. And she spoke a very mysterious language we know now is ancient Tebu, the language of the Sahara people. And she said to him in this blurred language, luckily he had a Bedouin who understood it roughly, that they had a king. Totally amazed, and she took him to the king. His name was Harry, apparently. Can we move? Here are these people. Can we move faster? And Harry said to Hassanein, we've been here a long time. Long time. He said, in fact, our ancestors left us their images. And when he took Hassanein to see the images, Hassanein got a shock because there was fauna that wasn't supposed to be there. Elephants, giraffes, lions, ostriches, faunas that can only exist today at least 1,000 kilometers south into Central Africa. And so he reported this to the National Geographic, and wow, we understood that that's the beginning of understanding that the Sahara was fertile, had water. It was a very different place. And we move faster. I'll have to, I'm enjoying this. You're enjoying this? Come on, give me some encouragement, huh? Yes, okay. We're finished. I'll have to move very, very fast, but essentially, I want to show you the people, but can we have the one that you had? This is another explorer, is one of the princes of Egypt, who declined the throne, Prince Kamal ad-Din, to become a desert explorer in the footsteps of Hassanein Bey. And he built the very first four-wheel drive, built by the Ford Company. But he did, rather than go through the Libyan border, he went straight trying to go to Uwainat, this small mountain zone, and he discovered something even bigger. He discovered Gilfkibir, which is the size of Switzerland. If you can imagine Switzerland without any trees today, it's the size of Switzerland. It's 300 kilometers long and 80 kilometers wide. Can we move? It's here. Hassanel missed it because he traveled at the back. You couldn't see it. Next slide. And of course, I had to go there. I just had to go there. And we did an expedition in 2008, in April 2008. And it changed my life. I mean, when you reach those places, you've landed on Mars. You have landed on Mars. In fact, they use this, NASA use this region to do tests for their Mars mission because it has the same apartheid geology. Oh, there's another English crazy mad dog. Major Ralph Bagnall. His sister was the one who wrote National Velvet, by the way. Weird connection.
Hey, I thought you were choosing the flute.
Everyone was doing flute.
Buick now has an SUV for that.
Where's your brother?
Hey, Mom, it's a tuba.
The Buick Enclave, one of 3 SUVs from Buick.
And he went there. It was pretty nice. I like his hat. And of course, he had these cars, and they got stuck God knows how many times. Even today, we get stuck a lot. We go over dunes and valleys, and wow. Move. And he found what is known, it was the first circle that was found. Stone circles in the desert. They're 8,000 years old. Astronomical alignments to the solstices, to the equinoxes. Can we move? Oh, there's the original English patient. Major Al-Mashi, a Hungarian. That's the real one. Doesn't look like Ralph Fiennes, I'm afraid, but he's the one who decided, okay, I'm going to go there by plane. He convinced another wealthy couple here, Lord and Lady Clayton, to fly. And they had a plane. Anyway, move on. And that's the plane they went. You've seen the film. Move. Here he is at the Cave of Swimmers. He discovered the Cave of Swimmers. Let's move fast. Another one, who's a very good friend of mine, Carlo Bergman, who found the Abu Balas Trail. He found those stations that lead, they built not one, many. It's like fuel stations all over the desert. And he's a rather interesting guy. Unfortunately, all the jars have been broken, but he managed to save some. Here is his journey from Dakhla in the middle. He went down and...
So they had water stations in the desert like gas stations.
We knew there was a cave, but there was no
crazy.
physical evidence of pharaohs being there. Egyptologists kept saying, no, they may have tried, but they never went there. There is no evidence. Nothing. Zilch. Not the word, not the sign, not the pot, no zero. Until 2007. To be precise, December 2007. Of all people, it's always outsiders. A Maltese businessman, who happens to be a friend of mine, Mark Borda, who decided to go to Mufas. Let's go. These are the pots, by the way. These are modern pictures. They date from the 4th and 5th dynasty. It's very eerie because you get there and like there's no one. Let's move. Come on. There is Carlo Bergman. There is Mahmoud Marai, who went with Mark Borda, and they did an expedition in November, December of 2007. Can you move? To Uwainat. And they entered illegally the Sudanese border. And they explored on foot. Let me tell you, they're brave guys because they walked for 9 days around there. It's quite an experience. You easily get lost. And they came across this. Pharaonic inscriptions 700 kilometers from the line. They're from the Pharaoh Mentuhotep II of the 12th dynasty. Pharaohs went there, and better still, they tell us why they went there. They tell us they went to meet their ancestors.
That's not the best tasting shit I've had.
Of the kingdom of Yam.
Oh my God.
I just thought that Yam was somewhere along the Nile, and they weren't quite sure. They now tell us this was a rendezvous place. And the big question is, where is Yam?
Protein shakes. That shit good for you, but
that's at the moment of discovery.
it don't taste good. It don't taste very good at all.
Here are the wonderful picture. Let's get a bit closer. Move. Next. There.
I even put like some strawberries in there, trying to sweeten it up. Like, nah.
It's actually not put right.
Oh,
there is a house. pots. They have headgear. They wear bracelets and dresses, and you can't see it too well, but they have the same triangular dress as the ancient Egyptians. The only thing is that they are black. Hence the title Black Genesis.
The Black
We know-
Genesis. Oh shit, they dropping them bombs, yo.
Because of genetic studies, that we all come from what we call the African Eve. I gave a talk at I'm going to end on this because I'm going to get scolded. I leave you to read the book, huh?
The African Eve. He's talking about the Eve gene. The black woman contains a gene that ain't no other person got, yo. It's able to be traced all the way back to the mother of everybody's mom. And the black woman still carry that fucking Eve gene, yo. They got it in them today. All of them. If you a black African, you can trace that shit back, yo, to the first mom of all moms. I'm surprised he just dropped all that shit, yo. The Black Genesis, the Eve gene.
There was 800 people in the audience at the Washington University District of Columbia, most of them African Americans. And I was apparently the first to say, I'm a black man turned white. Because that's what we are. It's just that. It's just a bit of melatonin that changes in your skin.
Melon.
And this is such a wonderful realization that we all come from the same source and we're exactly the same people. The package is different, that's all. And look at history and the mess we made because of not understanding this. We're at the threshold not only of understanding this scientifically, but to have found these people. Read my book. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Did I not just say that same shit, yeah? That it's just like look at history, what you fucking done to the original people. Like that's what they so afraid of admitting. Like, how the fuck did we do this to our parent race? Our parents, not because it's not even really your race. But at the same time, they realize too that the evolution of other ethnic groups that don't produce pigment is a bad thing. Not having color in your skin is a negative. It's a very, very recessive trait. That's why almost the entire planet, almost the entire human family has color. And there's a very, 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 very small portion of the human family that's not able to produce skin pigmentation. And somehow they've made that the reason they separate themselves from everyone else and that they should control everyone else because they're not like everyone else. You know, am I Jamaican? I have no idea. And that's what slavery has done to us. I'm from South Carolina. I know that my family's been from South Carolina for many generations. And more than likely, I am a direct descendant of some enslaved person, and we don't have a history. You know, my grandmother literally picked tobacco. You know, that was one of her jobs growing up. My mother and her sisters and brothers were in the tobacco fields at a young age. I'm one generation away from that shit in South Carolina. But South Carolina is one of those really old-timey Bible Belt, slow to get it, backwards ass states, you know. And simply from that reason alone, I don't know if, you know, I'm from Ghana, or Senegal or fucking, Ivory Coast or Jamaica or where. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? That was taken from us. All right. Just getting some colors up here. This is gonna be they're my standard beautiful brown. So I already know these colors because these people are almost the same color as I am. And so as you can see, this is not gonna be too difficult. I'll just use my normal palette here. I start out with Van Dyke Brown, some raw umber, some Indian red, some light red. I probably put some raw sienna and some yellow ochre on here. Maybe some permanent orange and a light red, maybe like this cadmium. This cadmium red is this hue? Cadmium red, deep hue. So let me grab some of these. And maybe I'll use this cobalt violet. Yep. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't. People think that shit is like way back in the past. Like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? My great grandmother was a fucking sharecropper. You know what I'm saying? That shit is still there, yo. And I don't know the psychological effects behind it because we don't know the greatness of our history, and that's where when you go into just public education, you learn all these great figures from European history, all their kings and queens and diplomats and war heroes and shit like that. But we never get taught our greatness to empower us and give us that sense of, I come from a people who have accomplished great feats and great achievements. And that literally changes the perception that a child has of themselves. Our history starts with slavery. In 1607, the first slaves came to the coast, to the shores of America. And we learned about fucking Jamestown and all this other shit. And 1865, Lincoln signed an Emancipation Proclamation freeing the slaves of their servitude. Get the fuck out of here. History's way older than that. Way older than that. But they won't teach it to you though. They won't teach you about the Mali Empire, the Moors of Italy, the Black Caesars of Rome. The original Asiatic black man, because all the Asians were dark skinned to start with, just like everybody else. That all the great Asian empires were built by black people the same way most other great empires were built by black people. You can learn about Mesoamerica in school, and they teach you about the Incas, the Aztecs, and the Mayans. But they don't want to teach you about the Olmecs, because the Olmecs look like black people, and the Olmecs are older than the fucking Aztecs and the Mayans. How is this? How is this old culture with all these black faces buried so deep in the jungles of South America? They can't explain it. They can explain it, but they don't want to teach it to you. It's amazing. America, home of the brave, land of the free, home of the slave, land of the beast. No rest, no sleep, no peace. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, keeping pace and never mind the dying rates of our race. Standing at the hinges of Hell's Gate, being told to follow an apple held by a snake, blood is shed, staining the earth red, leaving bodies for dead in order to help the wealthy stay ahead. Historians making history out of his story, filling up the pages of textbooks to bore me for 8 hours, learning about cowards who invaded the native land, taking away from us what's ours. No truth to the pain, no reason, no justice, just us. The last survivors who refused to be crushed by the 9 areas of people activities and left in the dust. Yet too many of us trust in lust without hesitation, holding hands with Satan while frolicking with his maiden. And this is the world that you've made for my children to be raised in? One piece of dirt sectioned off by lines we cannot see, filled with people telling me what I can and cannot be? America, home of the brave, land of the free, home of the slave, land of the beast. It's not history, it's his story. I wrote that shit when I was 15. No lie, yo. I've been militant my whole life. Ain't nobody never taught me that shit. I wasn't never trained to be this way. I ain't had no people in my family. Most people in my family still don't think the way I fucking think. I'm the black sheep. I don't know where I get that shit from. That shit been in me for a long time. And now this is no lie. And if you ain't, nobody ain't got to believe it if they ain't want to, but especially with all this standing for the national anthem and all that shit, yo, I'm so much of a black sheep, yo, I swear, yo, like, probably like 4th grade, I stopped standing for the pledge just because they made me do the same thing that everybody else was doing. And I never liked that shit. I never, ever liked that shit. That's why I always been a loner. That's why I always stayed in my fucking room drawing and reading books. You know, I had friends, I rode bikes, I did flips and shit like that. But for the most part, shit, I'd rather do my own goddamn thing. And I hated doing the same shit everybody else did. And I just remember one day in class, all right, rise for the pledge of allegiance. I just fucking set myself down. Like, I'm not gonna continue to do this. Why? Because after the Ice Age ended and the part of our family that lost their ability to create melanin started coming down from Northern Europe once all the sheets of ice went away, and they started to explore, and they realized they were behind everybody. You know, they came down ravaging and pillaging and burning, raping, and they seen all these other cultures, and slowly they started to absorb knowledge. And I don't know, being locked out for so long and then being able to actually absorb knowledge and absorb other cultures has made them drunk on power. And for centuries now, the European has had a conquest over the world, and until recently, you know, blacks were the largest population. Now it's Chinese. Chinese, they crazy, but we right behind the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, the slave trade really started with the Arabs, yo. The fucking Arabs was enslaving the Europeans coming down from the north, and the Africans from the south, and the Arabs had a crazy ass slave trade to start with, but motherfucking, I forgot the name of the war, but there was some major war that went on, and whites actually fought against the Arabs and won like some major victory to achieve some freedoms for themselves. And ever since then, the white man hasn't really been a slave to nobody else, yo. But I don't know. Like the Africans, we never really gained a major victory against the Arab slave trade. And then once the Europeans got in on the slave trade, we never really gained a major victory against them to the point where, you know, it was fucking 600 years of subjugation, and and they had to emancipate us as a people. Not we didn't fight a major battle and win our victory and win our freedom and put a stamp on it saying you will not do this to us. Uh, Haiti is one of the small examples of a victory, and you see how the world treats Haiti just because they were able to claim their own victory through war and bloodshed and make a point like, motherfucker, we not the ones, so don't come over here trying that shit. And so people have this real disdain for Haiti for being able to do that, and so they're left out the fucking dry for the most part when it comes to world economics and shit like that. But it's weird, like that's up to you, Big Splitter. You know, that's up to you, bro. You can't predict the future if you don't know what is presently going on. And you can't understand what is presently going on if you don't know how you got here. History is major. I'm a major history buff. I love talking about Black history. And so if you don't understand or you don't like the fact that people still talk about it, then change the channel. Yes, all races were slaves. I already discussed that. I've been in here for an hour. We already passed that pin mark. You know, you should get up a little bit earlier for this education. You know what I'm saying? And take the journey from the first few minutes, because we already went there talking about everyone's been slaves. Yeah. But the thing is, American slavery, when those good Christians and Protestants, those Quakers and Shakers, when they left Europe because of religious persecution, and they wanted freedoms, and they didn't want to be taxed by the king and his royalty. So they said, we're going to go to the new world and start over. And we're going to build a life where it's loving and peaceful and harmonious, and we won't have religious persecution. But in order to do that, we gotta kill all these savage native people who were here. It's just a minor thing. I know when we first got here, we couldn't survive the winter. We didn't know what to do. We were lost in this wilderness. These wonderful Indians, because we're just gonna call them whatever we want to call them. These Indians, they come and save us, and they fed us eel and turkey and venison, and they showed us how to grow crops and what crops are good to grow here, and then we killed them. Thanksgiving. And now we have this concept of manifest destiny, where it is our destiny to control this land from sea to shining sea, no matter what it takes. Even if we have to enslave a bunch of not really human, but subhuman Africans, just bring them over here and just have them build the shit for us. You know? So these are the things that actually got us to the point where we're at. And now there's plenty of think tanks, especially trendsetters and trend forecasters, ecological forecasters, all different kind of scientific groups and everything that make predictions that say, if this continues to happen in 50 years, that's a good bit of time, 50 years. You know, or they say in 75 years from now, that's almost the average human's lifespan, 75 years. But in 75 years, we will start facing these consequences because we've calculated this and we have this much margin of error. And see, that's being able to predict the future. And if you understand the present and you have some type of control over what is presently going on, then you're able to make predictions 25, 50, 70 years in the future. And 20 years from now, we'll have space travel that may put us on Mars. How? Because they understand and they control the science and technology they have now, so they can predict if we have these capabilities right now at this present moment, you know, our minds may not solve this certain problem that we can't overcome, but someone will be born or someone is going to graduate from college in the next 4 or 5 years, and by the time he gets here, he will be able to solve these problems. So yeah, in maybe like 25 years, we'll be able to accomplish such and such. But you have to know the present. And to currently know what is going on and how things are functioning, you have to know how they were developed and how you got to your current point. A lot of people haven't had access to a lot of information like that. That's where I come in. You know? So talking about the past is actually talking about the future. So if you're tired of black people talking about the past and our current situations, that means you don't like the future. Because there's a certain group of people who want to have a monopoly on how the future will be played out, you know, in world events, world economies. And so they create these giant organizations like the UN, you know, Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commissions. And so they can have a dominant control so that, you know, future instances and events play out the way that they want them to play out. That will work in their favor, maybe not in everybody else's favor, but hey, you know, when you're the dominant group, that's what happens. The simple fact that you know about Area 51 has to make you wonder about what you don't know about. Because Area 51 is a known unknown. You know about it, but you don't know what the fuck it is. So they still have a unknown unknown. But once again, who are these people? You think that's a bunch of Mexicans and some Spanish guys and a bunch of black dudes running Area 51 reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology and coming up with all these fucking weapons of massive death? Who do you think is down there doing those experiments? When you think of the International Monetary Fund and its board of directives and executives, who do you envision sitting on that in that boardroom? Think it's a bunch of diplomats from African countries or some South American diplomats? When you think of central banks and the Federal Reserve, when you think of the American Federal Reserve Bank and envision its board and its presidents and vice presidents, who do you envision sitting in that boardroom at a meeting? Is it someone who looks like me? When you think of all these really, really high roles that are played to manipulate large populations, if you don't see a bunch of Arabs and dark-skinned people at the top, if that's not your first thought in your mind, then we all think the same thing. We just don't understand it the exact same way. Unfortunately, I have not been able to travel the world. My homie is going to Thailand. He said he's leaving today. Him and his girl are going to Thailand for 2 weeks. I have several uh world travelers I know. One of my homies, he's a photographer and he's been to every continent. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And I don't know. I'll get my passport this year, hopefully before the year is out, and I will travel. And I have a couple of places. I have a little list that I've made out. And you know what? If I like them, I may not come back to this fucking country. You know, I will change my citizenship. Honestly, that's how I feel in my fucking heart. It's just a simple fact that I have not had the opportunity to go and see other places and how other people live. And you know what? I might move to another all white country. I heard Norway is one of the best places to live. You know, I might move to Norway. How about that? Yo, I game with a guy. He's been out the army for I think like 6 years now, but he was in the army for like 8 or 9 years. His last 3 years, he was in Japan. He got out the army. He just stayed in Japan. He married a Japanese lady. He said, bro, I fucking love Japan. It's like I'm never coming back to America, yo. Japan, yo, they treat me like a fucking king over here. Everybody just fascinated with me. The culture is so fucking cool, laid back. There's always something to do. He was like, man, my wife is the fucking best. He's like, I'm not coming back to the fucking States. I got a cousin in Japan and I got a cousin in Germany. Both military. You know, they got out the army. They just never came back home. My cousin right now in Germany is a high school English teacher in Germany. He's like, fuck, come back to the States. Him and his wife, they got 3 kids over there and they just fucking live in Germany now. But yeah, there is tons of places. Why is it named Bluetooth? Retired sailor, married a Japanese woman. And I love Japanese culture, yo. I'm such a fucking anime fan, yo. It doesn't make any sense. And trust, like I said, when I get my passport, Japan is on the list, yo. That's on the fucking list. And I'm gonna come over there. I'm gonna buy me some manga, all in Japanese, even though I can't read that shit, just to say, look, I got this manga from fucking Japan. This is original. This is authentic shit. I'm gonna buy me some anime with no subtitles. You just watch that shit. Hi, because I love that shit, yo. You know why? Because the Japanese culture is old as shit. And no matter how many times the Western powers have tried to shit on Japan and China, they still keep their culture. They don't let all that Western shit influence them too much. You know, it is getting bad in the last 50 years, but for the most part, they old culture is intact and they know who they are. They know their origins. You know what I'm saying? I like fucking cultures like that, yo. Why, shit. Me and Kim Young Jung, that's my homie, man. He just misunderstood. That's all, man. Kim Jong Jung is misunderstood, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta get to know the homie, man. Y'all don't even get a homie a chance. You know what I'm saying? He just gangster, cause he ain't gonna let America just come stomp all on this shit, talk all that riffraff. You know what I'm saying? He gangster. He just that shit. Y'all get mad when somebody else act like America. Oh, he act like he big and tough. He act like he got balls, like he'll do anything. Yeah, just like America does. Like America acts like they're always big and tough, and they're the ones with the biggest balls. So don't get mad when other people do that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's that gangster shit, man. You get mad when the real supposed to recognize real. You know what I'm saying? Dennis Rodman go chilling with him. Shit, I'm about to go over there chill too. Thought I broke my shit. Let that man do what the fuck you want to do. If he don't fuck with us, don't fuck with him. That's to anybody. I already had this conversation a while ago too. Motherfuckers he's enriching uranium. They have a nuclear program. So the fuck what? America does? Russia does? Y'all started this shit. Y'all started with these fucking atom bombs and all this nuclear fission and shit. Now other people are doing it. Now you're fucking scared because you dropped a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The only country that ever do that shit. They use fucking atoms to fucking devastate and to just fucking try to destroy a whole people. And then now he got nukes. What the fuck does that matter? Y'all started that shit. It's the weirdest fucking psychological complex I can't get my fucking head around. Like, y'all try to stop everybody else from getting the same weapons y'all got because you want to have a monopoly on violence. The European wants to have a monopoly on violence. We're the only people who can use violence because we're civilized and we know when the proper time to kill people and what we should kill people for. You guys don't really have that grasp, that concept of how you should kill people. So don't make weapons like we have. Well, that don't make any sense. Actively threatening. The U.S. has actually dropped fucking bombs. And then last year, they dropped the largest non-atom bomb ever? Actually did it. Not threatening. Not trying to use scare tactics. These motherfuckers have actually done it before. Have literally done it. Fat man, little boy, yeah, that shit was dropped. They're threatening us. Get the fuck out of here. They've been making threats since the fucking 60s, the Cold War shit. Yeah. Well, because now the white man fears his own weapons. Oh, shit. Well, don't fucking sharpen a knife if you don't want nobody else to sharpen a knife. So now you both got knives. So then the white man say, God damn it, I need a sword. Then I get a sword. He's like, shit, I'm gonna make a gun. So I'll make a gun. He's like, fuck, I need a bigger gun. No, a Gatling gun. No, RPG. No, a nuclear bomb. That's what I need, and I will fucking blow your bitch ass off the map. Wait, you got nukes now? Wait a minute, you're threatening to blow me off the map? Whoa. Well, this is not fair now. This is not fair. You can't have nukes. Only I can have the nukes. France. Yeah, it is a power thing. It is a power thing. And it's fucking psychos who are grasping for this power. Completely psychotic individuals who grasp to obtain this power. The power to decimate the earth. The power to control everyone's life. Only crazy people want that type of power. Insane, psychotic, demented. Oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta take a piss. That protein shake. Protein. That shit nasty, but it does wonders for the muscles. Now I got the protein shits.
Federal fees, state fees.
Help. Maybe it's time for a switch. Switch to Boost, where taxes and fees are included on all plans. Plus, get 2 lines with 3 gigs per line for just $50. With Metro PCS, you'll spend more and only get 2 gigs. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
See, what we're doing is we're bringing up children, to educate them, to live the same sort of lives we live. In order that they may justify themselves and find satisfaction in life by bringing up their children, to bring up their children to do the same thing, so it's all wretch and no vomit. It never gets there. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question. What do I desire? Well, when we answer that question in a naive way, we figure out that we want a desire, what we want is to control everything. To create girls that don't grow old, apples that don't rot, clothes that never wear out, conveyances that get from one place to another instantly so we don't have to wait, power available to do anything that you could conceive and do it just instantly like that, to get this funny technological omnipotence. But if you take time out to think about that, and really go into it with your full strength of imagination, and find out whether that's where you want to be, you will soon see that's not what you want. The moment you have a situation where you are really in control of things, that is to say, in which the future is almost completely predictable. You will see, as I said last night, that a completely predictable future is already the past. You've had it. That's not what you want. You want a surprise. You don't know what that's going to be, because obviously it wouldn't be a surprise if you did. You want a pleasant surprise. But like you say, what sort of a surprise would be pleasant? You can't really answer that. Because you know, if there are to be such things as pleasant surprises, there must also be unpleasant surprises. There must be rude shocks.
Word. Not the Navy SEALs. Yeah.
So you're like somebody taking one of those wishing well boxes, you know, tubs, you know, where you fish in and you bring out a package. You don't know whether you've got a dead rat in it or a new camera. And that's the way. That seems to be.
That's real shit.
Really
That's that real military shit right there.
But quite certainly there comes out of this inquiry a feeling of real disillusionment with the ideal of power. To be in power, to be in control, is not something that any sensible person wants. Imagine the situation of Big Brother. Mr. J. Edgar Hoover, Heinrich Himmler. To be glued a highly defended office with telephones.
I got a bunch of military shit, yo. Vest, I got a fucking helmet, a shovel, all kind of canteens and shit. Just in case. I want to be just as prepared as they are prepared. Motherfucker. I know how to make a fire too. Got me one of them sportsman knives, one of them survival knives, yo, shit like a big ass Rambo knife. You unscrew the top of that shit on the handle, and you got fucking fishing line in that bitch. You got a hook, you got some aspirin, you got some motherfucking matches. What else in that bitch? Damn, go to Japan. You would love it. I know I would, bro. It's a chill stream, man. Chill stream. We don't only do chill shit, man.
There's a natural tendency to seek power. And that's a very negative thing. It's like having a bad temper.
All right, so now what I got?
Seek power after you're frustrated in love. You should try and get back on the love beat. Because nobody wants power. Now, you may say that's shirking responsibility. That if you were a really responsible person,
reds, yellows,
you would go out for power and try to use
some purples, red, orange, and another yellow.
For the benefit of all.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself a prepper, but I just like having extra shit. I like being prepared. So I guess if I'm prepared, I'm a prepper.
All right, what would be the benefit of all?
Let's say if I go to the store, like, I just buy extra shit, yo. Buy extra canned goods, dry goods, perishable shit, shits that'll fucking last. You know what I'm saying? If I, naughty treats. Like if I go to yard sales or flea markets or whatever, if I see military equipment, I'll be buying that shit, yo. Yo, fuck that shit. I buy a lot of, like, any kind of little military gear I can get. And just stay with extra food and shit. Seeds. I even had some fucking, like some rations, some military food rations. Just in case. You never fucking know. There's anything, you know? Like, we could just have a major, like that hurricane that just passed, Irma in Florida. People were down there without power for like 5-6 days. Grocery stores are fucking empty. It ain't got to be somebody attacking you or motherfucking some kind of invasion or some military occupation or, you know, goddamn, no shit like that. It could be some natural event, a flood, a hurricane, you know, a lightning storm or whatever. And now what? You need water, you need power, you need food. You better be prepared for that shit. Oh, that shit where you can just drink right out the fucking mud water. Like, nah, I seen that LifeStar shit though. That shit is that you can drink any water. Dirty stream and filter that shit immediately. Like, I don't know. But I buy charcoal dust mask. I do got a water filter. I want me a motherfucking a nice big gas generator, yo. HARP, Highly Active Aurora Research Program. Yeah, if you guys have never researched HARP, look it up. HARP is very, very, very real technology, and it is actively in effect. They do use it. A generator. If you don't have power, as long as you got motherfucking couple gallons of gas somewhere, pour the fucking gas into your generator, boom, start that bitch up. At least you can have fucking some kind of communications. If anything goes down, you can have some kind of light source. You know what I'm saying? All right. Once again, like if you're just without power for a day or so, a bad storm, you lose power for a day. I mean, you got a freezer full of food. You got a refrigerator full of food. You know, if your power is sure to come back on, you don't want to waste fucking $300-400 worth of groceries. So what? Boom! Start that power generator up and motherfucking keep your shit cool until the regular power comes back on. Generators come in handy, yo. Shit, some people houses come from well water. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got city water, you got well water. When your power go out, you lose motherfucking water too, cause the power runs your fucking pump, the goddamn water from the well to the house. So you need power just to get the fucking water. You know what I'm saying? The generators come in handy for anything, yo. You just never know. You never know. I got all kind of woodworking equipment like saws and shit, nail guns, just in case I need to build some shit on the fly real quick. I stay with like scrap wood and shit. I wanted to buy me a piece of land and rent me a backhoe and dig me a motherfucking bomb shelter. Yo, just do that shit my damn self. Get some cement that bitch in, ventilation ducts and shit. It's not hard, and it ain't got to be deep. You can put that shit like 10 feet underground, and that shit will protect you like 10 feet of soil. 10 feet of soil will protect you from a lot of shit, yo. A lot of like light radiation fallout and all kind of shit. In 2008, the CDC put out a report on what would be the proper procedures in case of a zombie outbreak. Real shit. Look it up. CDC, the Center for Disease Control, headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, actually put a whole paper together on what they would do if there was a fucking zombie outbreak. Now, if we sit up here and talk about zombies being real, motherfuckers would call us crazy. But the CDC say that shit, people take that shit serious. Socks.
They had thought through what might be done if one had all these powers, and had decided that wasn't what they wanted.
Hey, y'all want to see coffee?
The powers of this kind in Sanskrit are called siddhi.
Yo, who want to see coffee cakes, yo? Fuck. Don't fuck it up, Trap. You always fuck it up every time. Trying to show off. I'm not gonna fuck it up. Word? Oh, y'all ain't know that, did it? Watch out now. Don't look too hard. I ain't playing either. Don't say nothing out the way. You ain't wanna get fucked up in here. Apocalyptic image. Been there, did that. Oh, snap. That shit is almost done. I just gotta wait for this little area to dry. Like some of these strands of hair, they're not filled in completely because that blue isn't dry. I just want to wait. And so I can make those little strands dark so they don't look gray like that. And then put a few more individual strands Man, then it's done, yo. Just gotta be patient. I just gotta be patient. Wait for it to dry, nice and even. In Newtown. Been there, didn't I? Yeah, that shit is details. Oh, the glare. I swear I hate the glare from this camera. Yo, the circles, right? Yo, it took us a minute to come up with that. Where's my photograph? Oh, this might be it. Yeah, so it took us a minute. It took us a minute to come up with the circles. This one's not finished yet, though. I'm gonna work on this later, too. But yeah, that's hot, though. I did that. I did a good job on that. Masterpiece. Look at that silk. That shit look like soft, like you can just touch that shit. But don't touch it, though, because it's wet. Okay, you can look, but don't put your hands on it. I don't know why people always just be like, oh, that looks so nice. Don't fucking touch my damn painting. Hell is your damn problem? Touching my damn painting. Motherfuckers is crazy. Coffee cakes. Now, if you want one, if you want a painting like this done for yourself, I'll charge you the same thing I charge her. $2,000. You can get one just like this. You can get one just like it. 2 stacks. Man, that shit is sharp right there, boy. Boy, that shit clean, right? Ooh-wee. Ooh, that's clean right there. Ooh-wee. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo-wee. But that's all I do, man. That's all I do. Just make beautiful paintings, you know. Beautiful black women. Man, I love it. I love painting beautiful black people. It's just, it makes my day. It makes my heart sing. You know? Love it. Love this shit. Subscribe to the channel, bro. I've been up here for a little bit over a year. And this is, people ask like, how can I get in contact with you? You're in contact with me. So I'm here. Trust me, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll see me in here a lot, almost every day, bro. I sell a pretty fair amount of art. I just sent the piece to Belgium. I sent the piece to Japan last year. This year alone, I sent like 2 pieces to Virginia. I sent a piece out to Cali, somebody in Kentucky. This coffee, that's going to be in New York. Like, my shit gets out there. I got a piece in Amsterdam. I got a piece in Holland. I got a piece in Alaska. All over the continental U.S. Like, but it's all just from streaming my art and letting people see it. And if people can see it and they like it, then they'll want to buy it. Another bathroom break. I done drank way too much shit this morning. Where's my this at? No?
You are not victims of a scheme of things, of a mechanical world or of an autocratic God. The life you're living is what you have put yourself into. Only you don't admit it, because you want to play the game that it's happened to you. In other words, I got mixed up in this world. My parents, I had a father who got hot pants over a girl, and she was my mother. And he was just a horny old man. And as a result of that, I got born. And I blame him for it and say, well, that's your fault. You've got to look after me. And he says, I don't see why I should look after you. You're just a result. But let's suppose we admit that I really wanted to get born. And that I was the ugly gleam in my father's eye when he approached my mother.
The paint club?
That was me.
That's what we should start, yo. Start a paint club. But this is the thing too, man.
I was designed.
Yo, I get bored with television. I literally don't watch TV, yo. I'm just waiting for The Walking Dead to come back on. The Walking Dead is very well written. I love that show. I watch that shit religiously. Sunday nights, 9 o'clock, AMC, The Walking Dead. Not Fear the Walking Dead. I can't even get into that shit. But anyway, so until The Walking Dead comes back on, I don't hardly watch TV. And so what I will do is I'll turn on my PlayStation sometimes and go on PlayStation Live and just watch people play video games, because I am a big gamer. And or I try to find other YouTube people like me who do something creative. But like, I don't know, man. On PlayStation Live, if motherfuckers ain't playing games, they just sitting around in their houses. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird what people do. Like, do something. Just do anything. Rolling Stoners. Alan Watts playing Tyler Durden. Say my name. The fuck do you mean? Say my name. Why? What is this? Are you fucking crazy? Just say my name. Tyler Durden, Tyler Durden, Tyler Durden. Dude. Oh, motherfucker. Crash like, oh, bitch. I'm Tyler Durden? What the fuck? Yo. Perfect fucking movie, son. I love that shit. I didn't catch it when you said Paint Club. But now, yeah. Yeah. Classic fucking movie, yo. His name was Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. His name was... Yo, that shit is crazy. I got that shit on DVD. That shit in my collection. I'm listening to Alan Watts Chill Step Mix. Very, 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 very inspirational stuff. Very good stuff to listen to.
Federal fees, state fees.
And over. And I'm waiting for somebody to say, have you listened to that one before? And I'll be like, and? He only sleeps 1 hour a night. Yeah. The first rule of Fight Club. You do not talk about Fight Club. In other words, Alan Watt, Chill Step. Yep, Alan Watt.
In the Western world, I suppose we have two dominant ideas about what happens to us when we die. There's the old-fashioned idea that after we die, we go to another world.
Like, who watched this fucking movie?
I say old-fashioned, not to say it's out of date. We don't know what the answer to this is. But that's the traditional answer of the Western world. When you die, you go to another life. Maybe heaven, maybe purgatory, maybe hell. Who knows? I think nowadays, though, the more general idea, the more plausible idea to many people, is that when we die, we just cease to be. That's all there is to it. But we're inclined, I think, to have in our minds a picture that's which indeed is depressing, of being shut up in the dark for always and always and always. To be kind of buried alive in a blackness where we are blind, deaf, and dumb, but somehow still conscious. But in the Eastern world, there are different ideas of this. Think of it in this way. Supposing I make two statements. Statement one, after I die, I shall be reborn again as a baby, but I shall forget my former life. Statement two, after I die, a baby will be born. Now, I believe that those two statements are saying exactly the same thing. Death is not the end of consciousness. If we think of death as endless darkness, endless nothingness is not only inconceivable, but it's logically absolutely meaningless. Because we aren't able to have any idea, much less sensation of nothing, unless it can be compared with a sensation of something. And therefore, I think what is meant is that the vacuum created by the disappearance of a being, by the disappearance of his memory system, is simply filled by another being who is I, just as you feel you are I.
Yeah, that's some shit that he's the first person I've heard say. Cause we all know it and we all understand it and we all feel it, but do we say it? Like, I feel that I am I, like, and you feel the exact same thing, right? Everybody feels that it's me, I. This is who I am, and we all feel that we are I. And that consciousness, it's your consciousness that says I. It's not your mind, it's not your thoughts, it's not your emotions, it's not some kind of physical chemical reaction that's going on somewhere in your body. It's your pure consciousness that understands that you are aware, that you are perceiving these events, and you are witnessing them from the perceptive viewpoint of I, the self, the eternal self, and we all are I. We all are the eternal consciousness, the awareness of self. We are all the exact same thing. But the mind and thoughts and the ego and different things like that, which are not really real, separate so many people from understanding that we are all the same thing. Damn.
The funny thing, though, about being I is that you can only experience this I sensation in the singular. You can't experience being two or three I's all at the same time. Now then, it seems to me that this idea has very important consequences. One is that the disappearance of our memory in death is not really something to be regretted. Of course, everybody wishes to hold forever to the memories and to the people and the situations that he particularly loves. But surely, if we think this through, is that what we actually want? Do we really want to have those we love, however greatly we love them, for always and always and always and always? Isn't it inconceivable that even in a very distant future, we wouldn't get tired of it? And this indeed is the secret of the thing. This is why the demon of impermanence is denounced. Because it is forgetting about things that renews their wonder.
This is just something to house you. Like you said, it's a container, a vessel. And you're only in it for a certain amount of time to experience life, to gather these experiences, which you can carry back with you to enrich the internal consciousness. We all play a part of this.
Just think, when you opened your eyes on the world for the first time as a child, how brilliant colors were. What a
That's all it is, man. You're a fucking an infinite being experiencing a finite life.
That's all because they were new to your eyes. Or in the same way, you know how it is, you've been reading a mystery story. And you're looking around the house, want something to read, you pick up an old mystery story. If you read it years and years ago and you've forgotten all about the plot, it still excites you. But if you remember the plot, it doesn't excite you. And so, by the dispensation of forgetting, the world is constantly renewed. And we are able to see it again and again, and to love again and again, to have people to whom we are deeply attached and deeply fond, always with renewed intensity, and without the contrast of having seen them before, for always and always and always. Another consequence of this is a very curious realization to me. Who would I be if my mother had married someone else? These are the kind of questions that make us puzzle profoundly about our existence. I might so easily have been born in China and India. Why do I feel that the world is centered in this place, as distinct from some other place? In other words, you jolly well know the world is centered where you are. There is consciousness anywhere, that is I. You then, in a way, look out through all eyes, and that perhaps is the secret of the great virtue of compassion.
This is Chill step mix
When your
number
own
2.
inner sense of identity changes from being the separate individual to being what the entire cosmos is doing at this place, you become not a puppet, but more truly and more expressively an individual than ever. Well, now do you see the point? That everybody, if we transfer this to the dimension of spirituality, where the highest ideal is to be unselfish, to let go of oneself, when you are trying to be unselfish, you're doing it for a selfish reason. You can't be unselfish by a decision of the will any more than you can decide not to think of a green elephant. There is a story about Confucius, who one day met Lao Tzu, who was a great Chinese philosopher. And Lao Tzu said, "Sir, what is your system?" And Confucius said, "It is charity and love of one's neighbor and elimination of self-interest." Lao Tzu said, "Stuff and nonsense. Your elimination of self is a positive manifestation of self. Look at the universe. The stars keep their order. The trees and plants grow upwards without exception. The waters flow. Be like this. All your nonsense about elimination of self is like beating a drum in search of a fugitive."
police arrive on the first floor, the thieves have gone up to the second. And so to the third, and finally out to the roof. And so when the ego is about to be unmasked, it immediately identifies with the higher self. It goes up a level.
I had a friend who was studying Zen in Japan, and he got pretty desperate to produce the answer of who he really is. And on his way to an interview with the master to give an answer to the problem, he noticed a very common sight in Japan, a big bullfrog sitting around in the garden. And he swooped this bullfrog up in his hand and dropped it in the sleeve of his kimono. And then he went into the master, and to give the answer of who he was, he suddenly produced the bullfrog. And the master said, too intellectual. In other words, this answer is too contrived. It's too much like Zen. You've been reading too many books. It's not the genuine thing. So after a while, you see, what happens is this. The student finds that there is absolutely no way of being his true self. There is also no way of doing it by not doing it. let me, to make this clearer, put it into Christian terms. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God. Now, what are you going to do about that? If you try very hard to love God and you ask yourself,
you live in Japan, you ain't got time to watch anime.
You find out you're doing it because you want to be on the side of the big battalions.
There's so much other shit to do.
You want to be right.
Yo, if
after all, the Lord is the master.
Like you said, anime for adults. I ain't talking about no, what is that shit called? Hentai? I don't want none of that shit. But like some real, like hardcore graphic crime shit, like Ghost in the Shell. Like that's my all-time favorite fucking series. I remember watching Gunsmith Girls. That was a good one. What else I got? I got the entire series for Cowboy Bebop. I got the entire series for Berserk. I got the entire series for Macross. What else I got? I got a bunch of movies, but I haven't been able to find no really good anime lately. I mean, I don't got Crunchyroll and none of that shit like that, but I don't know, man. Like a lot of anime seem like kitty too childish, yo. I said I was on that fucking I come up from the Ninja Scroll, goddamn Akira era, and that old school shit, that fucking Vampire Hunter D, shit like that. That's my kind of anime. Motherfuckers getting their arms chopped off, fucking heads split open, shot in the face with fucking sniper rifles. Initial D. I got that whole shit. Y'all remember that shit? Initial D. Yo. What else? I got a whole series of Avatar. The Last Airbender, that Nickelodeon series. I got the whole series to that shit. Yo. The first character, Aang. I know they remade that shit with the girl, but I ain't never really watched the one with the girl. That's probably like the most kiddie shit I got. I want it. How much you gonna sell it for, Rolling Stoners? Yeah, the Gundam Wing series. Yo, original paper. The day of, like, it doesn't even talk about the event because it was happening that day, right? The day, September, the newspaper for September the 11th, 2001. That's what you have, or you have like the first newspaper that talks about it. Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of that new Voltron on Netflix. Yo, if I come to Japan, I'm definitely gonna need a tour guide, yo. Definitely. That's gonna be the coolest shit. I come over here like a tourist, but yo, I already got homies here. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I know where to eat. I know the best hotels, the best tourist attractions. You know what I'm saying? I'm already good, yo. Yo, that one was a good one too, yo. The paper of the day. I think I already got that one. That's all that propaganda shit though. They was spitting that shit out from day one. Terrorist attack. Oh, Osama bin Laden. Man, get the fuck out of here. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. That's what I'm talking about. I gotta bring my girlfriend with me though, so no females. Dang. I'll save that for Thailand. It's like I hope he talking about you going to Thailand. I said, hey man, you know they favor some prostitutes, right? Oh, I'm bringing my girl with me. Oh, okay, just making sure, buddy. You gonna meet this pretty fine Thai chick. Next thing you know, you're gonna be kicking out some money. I didn't know it was like this. Oh, it's all good. Oh, that's good then. Damn, it's in pretty good shape too. I like 9/11 memorabilia. You see how they spun that crazy ass story. Yeah, that Sandy Hook, that was crazy too.
We have stronger means of changing the physical universe than has ever existed before. How are we going to use it? There is a Chinese proverb that if the wrong man uses the right means work in the wrong way.
Yeah, the hijackers still are alive. Like, come on, how in the fuck is that possible? You hijacked a plane, crash it into a building, and survived? Well, not everyone survived. We were able to ID some of them. Well, how did you ID them? Oh, we found their passport at Ground Zero. You found your passport that was on the plane that flew into a building and blew up and crumbled to pieces, and you found his passport. Yeah, knowing people who died don't mean it wasn't a cover-up, a conspiracy, a false flag event. That was fucking treason. You know what I'm saying? High treason. The highest form of treason.
Let us assume that our technological knowledge is the right means. What kind of people are going to use this knowledge? Are they going to be people who hate nature and feel alienated from it? Or people who love the physical world and feel that the physical world is their own personal body? An extension, the whole physical universe, right out to the galaxies, is simply one's extended body. Now, at the moment, the general attitude of our technologists who are exploring space is represented in the term the conquest of space. And they are building enormous, shell-like, phallic objects to go into the sky.
Look at what has been happening since then. This post 9/11 society that we live in, this police state. Like, all right. So 9/11, right? So we're supposed to take out the terrorists, but who's lost more freedoms? Has it been, Islamic radical terrorists who are willing to commit, suicide, or is it the American people who are constantly spied on, all our fucking cameras, our phones, our laptops, and everything constantly monitored? TSA and all this other shit that they've implemented, the Patriot Act 1, the Patriot Act 2, PDDF 51, like all these shits, man, like slowly taking away all our fucking freedoms, at the same time exploiting the Middle East, constantly destabilizing the Middle East in order to secure the fucking natural resources. That's all it is. We're approaching the end of the oil age. The motherfuckers in power, they want to control all this fucking fossil fuel before all the shit runs out. And, in the next, because once again, we talked about predicting the future. They already can predict when it's going to be absolutely necessary to change from fossil fuels. And so until then, they're going to fucking control and manage this last vital era of the oil industry, and try to continue their monopoly over it. And they want the fucking oil from all across the world. And if they have to kill a few thousand Americans to say that some radical terrorist was the cause, so that they can invade a country and kill leaders of other countries who don't want to trade oil with American dollars, then so be it. So be it. That's the name of the fucking game. That's the name of the fucking game. And people think it's about money and this and that. Money boils down to natural resources. Who has control over natural resources? Pieces of paper is a natural resource because we cut down trees to make the shit. But still, it's like, silver, copper, tin, different kind of plants, fucking oil, gold. These are fucking resources that are needed. It ain't about the fucking money. So Yeah, they went over there to control these fucking resources and whatever it takes to keep that area of the globe destabilized so that nobody's really aware what the fuck is going on. The urban grower. There's oil everywhere in on the North American continent. It's just being able to access it without fucking up a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? If we go to another country, take your fucking oil and fuck up all your shit, we don't really care. You know, I ain't gotta live there. But let's not pollute our own lands trying to get this fucking crude oil up. That's why they killed Gaddafi, man. I'm telling you, yo. Gaddafi said, "Look, man, I'm coming up with a new gold standard, the dinar. This is our currency now. You want our oil? Fine. I'll trade oil with you, America. But I don't want your paper money. You trading in gold, right? You want my oil? Give me some gold. If I buy anything from you, I'll buy it with my gold dinars. You know what I'm saying? America's like, somebody get over there and kill this motherfucker." Saddam said the same thing. "Look, man, I'm tired of your debt currency, this fiat currency y'all motherfuckers got going on. This shit ain't nothing but fucking debt to me. That shit don't help me out in no kind of way." You know what I'm saying? "Look, you want my oil? Fine. I'll sell you my oil. But I want gold for my shit." Somebody can he has possible ties to Al Qaeda. Somebody kill this motherfucker. Finally got his ass out the way. Anybody else who don't want to sell their gold for fake ass American money no more, they're gonna try to chop their ass off. And the US is aware of this. So before our dollar is useless on a national scale, on a global scale, the only thing we can do is use our supreme military capabilities to fucking manhandle everybody into giving us their fucking oil. Because we're not going to give you gold because America doesn't have that kind of resource anymore, you know. All we have is paper currency. Federal Reserve notes are what they call, you know. You don't like them Federal Reserve notes? We spend them all the time. You know, we spend Federal Reserve notes all the time. Y'all should be happy to get some of these Federal Reserve notes. Nah, bitch, give me some gold. Give me some platinum. Some something. Oh, we ain't got all that. We import most of our natural minerals and resources. I'm telling you, they do not want to pay for oil. America ain't got a lot to offer nobody no more. Nothing other than protection. Are they fucking with y'all? America, come in. We'll save you. Yo, that's what's up. Christopher. I'll definitely check you out, man. I'm always looking for talented people to watch, yo. Yeah, 24 karat greed, yo. You know what I'm saying? All these ancient civilizations just use gold for trinkets and decoration and jewelry and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else just wanna, I don't know. Like gold has become something different. And that's something even like where did our fascination with gold, where did it originate from? Cause it's on the second page of the fucking Bible. Like I don't even believe in the fucking Bible like that anymore, but just even those old ass texts like that, like in the second page, you're already mentioning gold and the quality of the gold. Like, why? Who the fuck cared back then about the quality of the gold? But for some reason, man has always had this fascination with gold, yo. It's so fucking weird. And then when I think about the fascination of gold, I always think about this. And just imagine the mind and the group of the civilization that had the mind and ingenuity to do this. But where does gold come from? Where does gold come from? Inside the earth, right? You know what I'm saying? Who was the first motherfuckers to really start like mining for gold? And what made people do that? Why would you go dig in this fucking ground or dig in this fucking cave or wall or wherever to pull out this fucking shiny ass ore? Like I don't, that shit is weird. Like just the fundamental concepts of mining and then like smelting. Like how did all that shit come about? Like who what group of people thought of mining and smelting? That shit is such a fucking complex fucking process. And then to actually know like what the fuck you're looking for. But it's older than old as old can be. Gold comes from God. Gold comes from dead stars, the earth. All right answers. All of them were right answers. But yeah, on earth, how do we have to get it? We have to dig it up. And just the like I said, just the idea of mining and smelting and then taking gold and purifying it, smelting it, and actually manipulating it to make different things. Like, I don't know, man. That's some fucking amazing shit. And now people just, I don't know, we still have this same fascination with it, but in an over dramatic sense, yo. Like, it's weird as hell. Natural resources. It was getting hot in the studio now. By that sun coming up. I would listen to this documentary. I'll just tell you guys to check out this one documentary called Money Masters. It's an older documentary from like the 90s, probably like 96 or 97, something like that. But it is really good on the banking system and why motherfucking the US powers have to eliminate people who no longer want to trade in US dollars in order to stay afloat economically. Because we're the US dollar is fastly approaching its breaking point. Well, it won't be able to function on a global market, and we're gonna have to do something about that. Our economy is gonna take out because we're not gonna be able to purchase goods from other countries, and for the last 40 to 50 years, the United States has been investing in technology for so long that we don't invest in goods as much. We just, exchange information and data for the rest of the world, monitor and shit like that. And we thought, oh, we can stay afloat like that. Nah, bitch. Because once our dollar ain't worth shit and we don't produce electronics and cars and textiles and shit like we used to, we're not going to be able to afford that shit. And then the same thing happened to us that we've done to other countries that we don't like. Just starve them out, break them down economically, and then we'll have, new owners. Because there's a lot of major companies that were American owned that aren't even owned by Americans anymore. Budweiser being one of them. The Great American Beer, that shit is owned by some Japanese company now because America, these motherfuckers can't manage that shit no more, yo. I'm getting hungry as shit. Oh, PlayStation on tonight. Yeah, and where are the greatest quantities of this found? That Africa. Africa is the jewel of the world. The Berlin Conference of 1885. 1885. Check that shit out.
You know, in the history of philosophy, there are really three theories of nature. The first theory is the Western theory, which is that nature is a machine or an artifact. Our tradition has been to look upon the world as a construct, and somebody knows how it was put together. Somebody understands. And that is the constructor, the architect, the Lord God. But it so happened that in the 18th century, Western thought began to change. They became increasingly doubtful as to whether there was a maker, whether there was a God. But they continued to look upon the creation as an artifact, as a machine. When you go to the hospital for a medical examination, you are treated as a machine. They process you. You're not a person. You're put in a wheelchair immediately. Even if you're perfectly healthy and can walk, nevertheless they have to have you in this wheelchair. And they put you through a process. And the heart specialist looks only at your heart because he can't understand anything else. The otorhinolaryngologist, which means an ear, nose, and throat man, looks at that section of you, and he doesn't know about anything else. And maybe a psychiatrist takes a look at you, and goodness knows what happens there. And so on and so on. Everybody looks at you from their specialized point of view, as if they were a bunch of mechanics examining your automobile. Now let me take a second theory of nature. This is an Indian theory. Nature not as an artifact, but as drama. Basic to all Hindu thought is the idea that the world is Maya, which means many things. It means magic, illusion, art, play. All the world's a stage.
Yeah, I love Alan Watts. Yeah. I listen to a lot of like Claude Anderson and Boyce Watkins.
And in the Hindu idea, it is the ultimate reality of the universe.
Dr. Amos Wilson. I listen to all his lectures like twice at least.
That's what there is. The self.
I've listened to a lot of Alan Watt lectures in the past too, but I found these chill step mixes with the music in it. It's like, holy crap. It adds a dynamic flair to it. I'm actually going to ask one of my DJ friends if he can make me a mix similar to this, but using some of Dr. Amos Wilson's lectures and see how that sounds.
And he does it for unspeakably long periods of time. The Hindus measure time in what is called a kalpa, K-A-L-P-A. That's 4,320,000 years. It's not meant to be taken literally. But just for an unspeakably long time, the Brahman, the self, pretends that it's lost and is us. And all our adventures and all our troubles and all our agonies and tragedies, it gets mixed up in them. Then after the period of 4,320,000 years has elapsed, there is a catastrophe. The universe is destroyed in fire. And after that, the Brahman wakes up and says, well, good, crazy, what an adventure that was. He wipes the sweat off his brow and says, let's rest a while. So for another 4,320,000 years, the divine self rests and knows who it is. It's me. Then it says, well, this is rather boring. Let's get going again. Let's get mixed up. And it does it in a very strange way because the way the Hindus time it, the first period of getting mixed up, getting lost, is beautiful. Everything's right. It's just life is glorious. Then it has the next period in which things get a little wonky. Something is vaguely out of order. That doesn't last so long. Then the next period, the third, is when good and evil are equally balanced. And that's still not so long. Finally comes the shortest period when everything bad triumphs and the whole thing blows up and we begin all over again. We're supposed to be living in that now. It's what's called the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. And it began on Friday, February the 23rd, 3123 BC. And it has 5,000 years to run. But as it goes on, time gets faster, so don't worry. So you see, that's a theory of nature as a drama. It's a play. Now there's a third theory of nature, which is Chinese. And this is very interesting. The Chinese word for nature they call zizhang. And this expression means of itself so. What happens of itself. Spontaneity. means automatic, because automatic is what is self-moving. Only we associate the word automatic with machinery. But Ziran, what is so of itself is associated in the Chinese mind not with machinery, but with biology. Your hair grows by itself. You don't have to think how to grow it. Your heart beats by itself. You don't have to make up your mind how to beat it. That's what they mean by nature. The poem says, sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes and grass grows of itself. So their principle of nature is called a Tao, T-A-O, pronounced Dao in the Mandarin dialect, Tao in the Shanghai dialect, To in the Cantonese dialect. Take your choice. Tao means the course of nature. And Lao Tzu, who was a philosopher who lived a little later than 400 BC, wrote a book about the Tao. And he said, the Tao which can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. You can't describe it. He said the principle of the Tao is spontaneity. He said the great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. It accomplishes merits and lays no claim to them. The Tao does not act as a boss. In the Chinese philosophy of nature, nature has no boss. There is no principle that forces things to behave the way they do. It is a completely democratic theory of nature.
No, this is just something I wanted to do.
Correspondingly, you see, most Westerners, whether they be Christians or non-Christians, don't trust nature.
A little bit of spiritual nourishment. I have to stop and grab me something to eat in a minute. I'm fucking hungry.
Nature is the thing least to be trusted. You must manage it. You must watch out for it. It will always go wrong if you don't watch out. You know, the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. So we're always feeling that you can't trust it. See, we're absolutely instilled with the idea of original sin. You can't trust nature because it comes out with weeds and insects. And above all, you can't trust human nature because if you don't hold a club over yourself, you'll go out and rape your grandmother. Are you going to trust it? You don't have to, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go on living. But it's a great idea. It's a great thing. If you can learn what the Chinese call purposelessness. They think nature is purposeless. When we say something's purposeless, that's put down. No future in it. It's a washout. But when they hear the word purposeless, they think that's just great. It's like the waves washing against the shore, going on and on and on forever. There's no meaning. Like the birds in the trees. Go, tree, 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 what's it all about? Everybody tries to say, it's a mating call. It's purpose. Trying to get their mate. Why do that? They say, well, it's because they need to survive. Well, why survive? What's that for? Well, to survive. And they say, well, that's terribly serious. That's awfully important. We've got to keep on doing this. When Chinese say nature is purposeless, this is a compliment. It's like the idea of the Japanese have a word, yugen. And they describe yugen as watching wild geese fly and be hidden in the clouds. As wandering on and on in a great forest with no thought of return. Haven't you done this? Haven't you gone on a walk with no particular purpose in mind? Carry a stick with you and you occasionally hit at old stumps, wander along sometimes through your thumbs. It's at that moment that you are a perfectly rational human being. I remember the preachers used to say, when I was a small boy, I'd always hear it. We must follow God's purpose. His purpose for you and his purpose for me. When I asked these cats what the purpose was, they never knew. They didn't know what it was. They had a hymn. God is working his purpose out as year succeeds to year. God is working his purpose out and the time is drawing near. The time when the earth shall be full of the glory of God as the waters cover the sea. What's the glory of God? Well, they weren't quite sure. I'll tell you what it is. In heaven, all those angels are gathered round the glory of God. That is to say, the witch than which there is no witcher. And they're standing around it and they're saying, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. It means nothing. They're just having a ball.
I'm painting it now.
When God created the universe, it was created like
I don't I don't understand the question. Did you hand paint that picture yourself? I'm painting it now. That's the best thing I can say. Yeah, that's what's up, Mikey. Thanks, man. Alright. So I'm running out of colors on my palette. and I'm hungry, so I think it's a pretty good stopping point right there. I'm gonna go grab me a late breakfast because I was up early this morning and really didn't eat anything. I had a shake and that was about it. Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. I can still have a little breakfast. Alright guys, yeah, this painting is just, well, I've had it prepped for a while, but I'm just getting some paint on this canvas. So subscribe to the channel, like, hit the bell button so you can get notifications when I'm in here, so you can see this project come to life from this early stage. Yo, appreciate everybody chilling with me for a little while. Yo, peace. Till next time.
Because I can't let go of it. To throw it, I must let go. To live, I must